Okay, I'm going to take you on a tour of my hydroponic tower setup. As a first off disclaimer, I cannot take credit for the design in this. This is something that I have pulled some information from various YouTube videos, various websites, a lot of resources on forums and stuff. So most of this stuff is not my creation. It's my putting together of various other people's various ideas. I did build everything myself. I'll go over all the components that I use. I'm going to tell you what works best for me and what doesn't work. There's a lot of things that I have figured out over time that have just not worked well. Even though at first it seemed like they were going to work great. Small problems that I didn't think about before I built that I'm slowly modifying to try to correct and things like that. And I'll tell you where I plan on taking this in the future. Alright, let's go and I'll show you what's going on down there. Okay, I got the camera handheld here, so might be a little shaky. I'm going to walk through this system and follow the path of water, and then we'll go through each piece by piece. So the water comes out, goes up through that pump right there, up the PVC, across, over and down, into the towers, back down through the towers, through the drain pipe, and back into the reservoir. A view from a little bit further back, you can see I have two lights. They're oriented differently, intentionally, and I have plenty of room for more towers, but at this point I've only got about 6 going. Well, only 5 are loaded, but I've got 6 going. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you what is different about each tower and what I like and what I don't like. For my lights, I have two 2000 watt LED grow lights I got right off Amazon. You can see they're incredibly bright, and I've had amazing success growing plants with them. I have them at different orientations just for experimentation purposes. Okay, so the way I have this set up currently is I have poly tubing going down, and at each tower I put a connector. I used 1-inch poly, but any size would really work. And then we have these little fittings. These are available at Home Depot. They're just little plumbing fittings, and they're compression fittings, which makes it really nice. And then we just use the drip tube right there. It roughly equals out to about 7 gallons per hour, which is perfect. Keeps everything wet, but not drenched. Okay, so those are what I've been using for the fittings. Next, you can see behind the towers we have reflective sheeting, also available at a hardware store. And I use the reflective sheeting just to catch more light. I'm not wasting any light. Okay, now we're going to talk about what tubes I'm using, benefits and drawbacks of each type of tower. So all the way on the end here, I basically have a piece of PVC, and I cut a slit in, and I like this method the least. My biggest problem winds up being right where the plants are. You wind up getting drips, and the drips fall down, and if you don't have something to catch it, it gets all over the floor. So I've gradually experimented with a few different things. If you take a look at this right here, I have a piece of PVC pipe that I put in there and wedged in there to keep that open. That helps a little bit with the problem, but it's not great. The next pipe or tower is a 3D printed setup that I 3D printed myself. Just basic designs. It's just a tube with a tube out of it on a 45-degree angle. They take a long time to print. They're probably not cost effective, but they work really well. They leak a little bit. I'm going to seal them on the outside next time, but otherwise they're pretty perfect. I really like this, and I'm going to make more of them. This setup right here works really well with the purple basil in it. I basically have 2 lines I drew a line down the center actually, and then just on either side of each line, I drilled a hole and put the plants right in the hole. Now, this setup is cheap and very easy. So I'm going to do a couple more of these as well. Little bit of a close-up there. The tops are just 4-inch PVC caps, the cheap ones, not the hardcore ones, that I screwed into the PVC itself. And then I drilled a little hole on the top so that I could get my pipe in there. Drilled holes at the bottom, and I had originally planned on anchoring the bottom, but it's nice to be able to move it in case you get drips. These plants have been in here for about 5 days now. So this is what I use inside all my pipes. This is pond filter media, and it's pretty sturdy, but it allows the plants to have a lot of surface area to root, which is very important. This stuff I've had great success with. If you get it, you want to cut it down on a table saw. It'll make your life easier. I tried a bunch of different ways to cut it, but a table saw seemed to be the one that worked out the best for me. I wanted to spend a little bit of time on how I set up my plumbing. I have my pond pump down there. I have a quick disconnect right there. That allows me to get that pump out if it breaks for some reason. I can pop that off, easily change it out. I have this outlet here, which will allow me to, when I'm mixing the nutrients in, I can turn it on, which I'll show you. And once I turn it on, it allows me to much more easily get an even mixture, so I can do my water testing parameters. Next up, I have my drain hose or drain pipe. So this obviously ends right there. I have a hose that I connect and I send right out that window. So when I want to drain the whole thing, it makes my life much easier to just connect that, send it out. Finally, I have my master flow valve. This is the one that controls the final amount of water that goes to the whole system. So I keep it on about half right now. I judge based on how much flow is coming out of the drain tube right there in order to determine how much I need to give it. Okay, so that's an overview of my hydroponic tower system. Next video I'm going to do is going to be about my hydroponic deep water culture system, which is a little bit easier of a system to get started with. Way less setup and logistics involved. It's something that almost anybody can do. So I'll have that I'm going to show next video. If there's any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I'm always happy to answer them. Thanks for watching.